St. Clair County, Illinois, 2000. A decision to allow Earthbound humankind to join intergalactic treaty groups a few years ago had caused quite a stir among an ever-growing group of alien factions. Some believed that humans were not yet ready for such advanced endeavors, while other civilizations welcomed their participation with open arms. The clash of cultures and ideologies created a kaleidoscope of both emotions and reactions, adding to the already chaotic atmosphere in this region of the cosmos. Yet amidst all this chaos and uncertainty, there was a glimmer of hope for a brighter future, one where humanity could have a say in their own affairs and thrive alongside their alien counterparts in peace and harmony. Much like the Earthbound League of Nations was a noble but flawed attempt at creating a global organization for peace after the devastation of the humans' First World War, but failed to achieve its primary purpose of preventing World War II. The first iteration of intergalactic treaties also failed in its main objective, to bring about peaceful coexistence between humankind and other civilizations. This failure was due to several factors, including lack of enforcement mechanisms, cultural and ideological clashes, and political power struggles among member civilizations. But despite these setbacks, the members of the intergalactic community, who remained aligned with the coalition, were determined to continue their pursuit of peace and cooperation with Earth. And so a new framework for intergalactic relations was agreed to be established, a framework that would take into account the lessons learned from past failures. A monumental intergalactic meeting was arranged, drawing the most diverse and influential beings in all of the cosmos. Almost every known universal species, from the most advanced, including myself, to some of the most primitive ones, such as humankind, was invited to attend. The location of this intergalactic event was determined, after a considerable amount of interplanetary debate, to be held just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, in an old favorite town of some of the older, more powerful aliens named Belleville, Illinois. On a bitterly cold winter morning that seemed to hold the weight of the universe itself, representatives from countless civilizations began to converge on this designated area. It was a time and place that had been planned over a full year ago, but now it was finally coming to fruition. Even before the first rays of sunlight began to peek over the horizon, glimmering ships and vessels from all corners of the cosmos could be seen descending towards the planet's surface near Belleville. Until the group was able to agree on some details for a legally binding framework, special care was taken by all aliens not to land north of St. Clair County in the overly litigious Madison County. Despite the early hour, there were humans already awake who were gazing up at the sky in wonder. The darkness of night still enveloped the land, making it difficult to see anything clearly. But these humans seemed determined to catch a glimpse of whatever was happening above them. Perhaps they sensed something monumental was about to unfold. As for me, I couldn't help but wonder why these particular beings from Earth, who were not even the ones participating in the event, were awake and staring up at their night sky, still in the wake of their holiday season. This wasn't another event designed to slowly disclose the truth to humankind. This was supposed to be a meeting for intergalactic decision-makers to gain consensus about how the future of Earth should be handled. As the representatives from different civilizations began to gather, discussions about the best approach to take with regards to Earth and its inhabitants were already well underway. Some argued that Earth should be treated as a protected sanctuary, allowing its population to develop at their own pace without any interference from outside forces. This idea was met with some skepticism by others who believed that Earth and its inhabitants were too volatile and unpredictable to be left on their own. They argued that constant monitoring and guidance was necessary in order to prevent any potential disasters or conflicts. But the most controversial proposal came from a small group of aliens who suggested that Earth should be treated as if it were a zoo, with humans as the main attraction. This would involve limited interaction with humans, only observing them from a distance and studying their behavior. This idea was met with both fascination and disgust by the other attendees. Many saw it as a violation of Earth's sovereignty and an unethical treatment of its inhabitants. But others saw it as a practical solution, one that would protect both humans and other civilizations. After heated debates and discussions, it was eventually decided that a combination of these approaches would be taken. Earth would be designated as a protected sanctuary, but with strict guidelines for interaction between humans and intergalactic beings. Any significant technological or societal advancements on Earth would require approval from the Intergalactic Committee. This decision caused quite a stir among the pro-human faction when it was eventually announced. While there were some who welcomed the protection and guidance offered by these advanced beings over Earth, others saw it as an infringement on the freedoms of Earthlings. Regardless of these reactions, most agreed to abide by the intergalactic laws set in place for humanity's betterment. And so began a new era. The intergalactic community agreed they would continue to keep an eye on Earth, ensuring that they followed through on their promises towards peaceful coexistence with other civilizations. And slowly but surely, humans would most certainly begin to prove themselves to be worthy of their place in the cosmos. It was also agreed that mankind should have a say in his own future and that of his planet, but not the only say. The new Majestic 12 was established that day. It was agreed that its governance would only apply to Earth and would not be universal. Although the Majestic 12 had existed under various names in one form or another for many years as a governing body of aliens who had interests inside, on, or near Earth, now the Earthlings would also control 2 of the 12 leadership seats within the Majestic 12 organization. One of those 2 seats, it was agreed by the aliens, would automatically go to whoever was president of the United States at the time, and the other would be the old pale man known as the Pope, who led the humans' legendary Catholic Church. Many humans and some of the aliens also referred to him as the Pontiff. It was agreed that the Intergalactic Council would meet again in 4 years at nearly the exact same location, and should the President of the United States or the Pope be replaced before that time, that their replacements in their respective earthly roles would serve on the Majestic 12 in their stead, until the Council would reconvene in 2004. Highland, Illinois, 2004. I arrived at the Intergalactic Conference of 2004 with plenty of time to spare. I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment for being invited back. After all, it was my reputation as a scribe and unique understanding of humankind on Earth that had allowed me to attend this very prestigious event. And while some of the attendees would be high-ranking human leaders attending in secret, my true desire was to spend some time among the regular Earthlings, the ones whose lives were impacted by these otherworldly gatherings, but who remained blissfully unaware of them. I could already feel the electric energy pulsing through the air, signaling the start of a monumental meeting between many worlds. I stepped into the bustling town of Highland, a place that seemed to have a life and a pulse of its own. The humans here were unlike any I had encountered before, with their varying appearances and behaviors that defied explanation. As I observed their strange customs and social codes, I couldn't help but feel conflicted, drawn to their vibrancy yet wanting to distance myself from their unpredictability. Within the boundaries of Highland, there was a human spot called the Rail Shake, a popular destination where Earthlings gathered to indulge in alcoholic beverages. As someone who was always intrigued by this aspect of human behavior, I decided to enter the establishment, taking note of the rhythmic tremors caused by nearby passing trains. Inside this unassuming watering hole, I beheld a peculiar sight. A group of heavily intoxicated Earthlings were partaking in a curious ritual known as purple hooters. They would simultaneously consume the vivid liquid together, shooting it down their throats whenever the bar trembled from passing trains. From my concealed position behind my humanoid projection, I observed with a blend of both amusement and bewilderment. The atmosphere was thick with the heady scent of alcohol and raucous laughter. The dimly lit space was adorned with neon signs and flickering lights, creating an otherworldly ambience. It was a scene unlike any I had witnessed before on my travels through different planets and galaxies. The humans, their cheeks flushed and their voices echoing through the establishment, moved about in an enthralling display of uninhibited behavior. To someone like me, with my telepathic connection and logical mind, their actions seemed almost nonsensical. Yet, as I observed them, I couldn't help but be intrigued by their complex relationships and the bonds that existed between them. It was a foreign concept to my species, but one that I couldn't deny had its own allure. The air was thick with the smell of alcohol, body odors, and cigarette smoke, adding to the vibrant chaos of the scene before me. The night unfolded with an unexpected twist. As I observed the Earthlings' revelry, a boisterous group entered, draped in dark-colored garments made from deceased bovine and adorned with the insignias of various earthly tribes. They engaged in a competitive ritual, challenging each other to consume the most purple hooters with each passing train-induced tremor. Amidst the chaos of their still primitive existence, I couldn't help but be fascinated by the Earthlings' capacity for joy. Their strange tradition of the Purple Hooter ritual, fueled by the rumbling vibrations of passing trains, became a symbolic dance of earthly revelry. It was a testament to the resilience and creativity that flourished in unexpected places on this planet. As I watched from my vantage point, I marveled at the sight of humans coming together in celebration, their bodies swaying in unison to the rhythmic beats of their locomotives. The air was thick with energy and a sense of belonging, as if everyone present was united by their shared humanity. It was a truly mesmerizing experience, one that left me in awe of the Earthlings and their ability to find joy amidst the chaos of life. As I stood outside the rail shake, my observations expanded beyond the drunken revelry within. I saw the quiet moments of Highland, where Earthlings moved through their daily lives with a stoic resilience, enduring endless hardships and pain with grim determination. The next morning in the heart of Highland, I then encountered a phenomenon known as a farmer's market. My senses were immediately overwhelmed with the vibrant colors and fragrant scents of fresh produce and homemade goods. People chattered and laughed as they bartered for sustenance and traded their earthly creations. The atmosphere was electric with a beautiful symphony of both voices and gestures, all against the backdrop of a sunny sky and bustling small-town life. It was a truly remarkable sight to behold. As the next few hours passed by, I became increasingly aware of spaceships dotting the southern Illinois sky. They were like glittering jewels, each one unique in its design and place of origin. But, slowly but surely, their numbers grew. The anticipation for the upcoming intergalactic conference was palpable in the air, as if the spaceships themselves were buzzing with excitement to meet their counterparts from other worlds. It was truly a sight to behold, a gathering of beings from across the vast expanse of space. And I, a mere scribe, felt privileged that it would soon all unfold before my eyes. It was obvious to every attendee at the conference and every member of the Majestic 12, including the human ones, that mankind had not progressed or evolved very much over the last few years. I couldn't help but to feel a sense of disappointment. It was clear that humanity had not made very much progress since the last great intergalactic conference. The weight of this realization hung heavy in the air, leaving many conflicted about the future of mankind as a species. In the wake of the previous intergalactic conference, a disturbing trend had emerged amongst humans. Some of them intentionally piloted their crude space vehicles directly into buildings, targeting their own species for destruction. They called it asymmetrical warfare, a twisted concept that justified sacrificing innocent lives for some cause. The carnage and chaos left in their wake was unimaginable, as buildings crumbled and bodies burned in the fiery aftermath. It was a ruthless betrayal of their own kind, a dark stain on the reputation of humanity in the eyes of the rest of the universe. Among the varied extraterrestrial beings in attendance, a heated debate raged over the future representation of humans on the Majestic 12 Council. Some argued that humans should only hold one seat instead of two, while others believed they shouldn't have any representation at all. The air in the grand chamber grew thick with tension as different viewpoints clashed and voices rose in passionate argument. Glowing orbs of light hovered around the room, their colors reflecting the emotions of the respective speakers. Despite the differing opinions, everyone present knew the importance of coming to a decision that would affect civilizations across a large swath of the known cosmos. After much debate, it was finally decided that no changes would be made to the intergalactic treaties during this conference. While some saw this as a sign of stability and peace, others couldn't help but feel frustrated at mankind's lack of progress and accountability. The tension among the various alien races was palpable as they reluctantly agreed to meet again in the same location in 1 decade to revisit the issues surrounding the treatment of humankind on Earth by spacefaring civilizations. It seemed to many in attendance like only a temporary solution, putting off potentially necessary changes for another 10 years. Lebanon, Illinois, 2014. The much-anticipated Third Intergalactic Conference was convened in the small town of Lebanon in the year 2014. It had been 10 years since the last gathering, and excitement buzzed through the air as ambassadors from all corners of the galaxy arrived. The quaint town was transformed into a bustling hub of activity as aliens of all shapes and sizes, mostly in earthly disguise, mingled with humans, their advanced technology and colorful attire a stark contrast to the serene Midwestern setting. The anticipation and curiosity hung heavy in the air, as everyone wondered if humankind had made any significant changes since the last conference. As I entered the great event, my heart sank at the sight of the stern faces adorned by many of the ambassadors from across the cosmos. The tension in the air was thick and heavy, and lingering questions persisted about the past decade of violence that the human species had brought upon themselves. While we were supposed to be united in finding a solution, there was still animosity and fear clouding our minds. How could we trust the humans when they were still attacking their own kind? Yet, we knew we had to come together, no matter how conflicted all of our views may be. The meeting began with a slow, deliberate review of the previous conference's decisions and treaty. It was evident that very little had changed since then. The stink of mankind seemed to loom over all of the participants, casting long shadows. Humans still held 2 coveted seats on the majestic 12 Council, their voices and opinions carrying significant weight. However, murmurs and heated debates erupted again from some corners, with many still arguing fervently that humans should have only 1 seat on the Council, or even no representation at all. Tensions hung thick in the air, as ambassadors from different species shifted uncomfortably in their seats and exchanged meaningful glances. This was not just a simple meeting, it was a battle for both power and control, with potentially far-reaching consequences for all involved. The debate grew heated once again, with emotions running high. Some still argued that humans had not shown themselves to be responsible or trustworthy enough. Others believed that it was important for humanity to have a voice in these intergalactic matters. As tensions rose throughout the conference, an unexpected voice spoke up. It was an emissary from Earth, representing humanity itself. The brave human stood before everyone present and apologized for their species' actions over the past decade. They acknowledged that they still had much to learn and improve upon, but promised to strive towards change and progress. This unexpected gesture surprised and impressed many of those in attendance. Some saw it as a glimmer of hope for humanity's future, while others remained skeptical. After hours of intense debate and careful consideration, it was ultimately decreed that neither the esteemed President of the United States or the Holy Pope would hold a seat any longer among the prestigious Majestic 12. Instead, humankind would be granted 3 new representatives on the Council, tasked with making crucial decisions for their species' future. In place of the President of the United States would now be a military intelligence representative. This individual would hold an important position in the United States intelligence community, often the highest-ranking member of their career bureaucracy who had not been personally appointed by the President. This individual could potentially hold great sway and influence within the group by wielding their knowledge and experience like a powerful weapon. The next of the 3 coveted seats on the Majestic 12 would now be reserved for the President of the People's Republic of China, serving as a necessary counterbalance to the other 2 human seats. This powerful position held immense responsibility and authority, with the weight of an entire nation, almost 1/5 of Earth's entire population, resting upon their shoulders. The 3rd seat on the Council symbolized a delicate and vital balance between nations, a safeguard against any single entity gaining too much control. It was a coveted position, one that held both great responsibility and power. After much debate and negotiation, it had been decided that the 3rd seat would now be given to Earth's wealthiest person, an individual with immense resources and influence. This decision had caused quite a stir among the Council members, each vying for their own candidate to fill the prestigious role. But ultimately, it was seen as a necessary move to maintain harmony and prevent any one nation from holding too much sway over intergalactic affairs. The decision-making power of the group was carefully distributed among human and non-human members, ensuring that no single earthly nation or intergalactic species held too much sway. The Grand Hall buzzed with excitement and energy as the 3rd Intergalactic Conference then came to a close. The ambassadors nodded in agreement as they discussed the outcomes. A sense of hope and unity filled the air, like an invisible force that bound them all together. After much debate and compromise, they had finally reached a resolution and made plans to reconvene in human year 2029 to review their progress on these crucial issues. The room seemed to hum with anticipation for what the future held. As they dispersed back to their respective galaxies, the stars whispered of mankind's future and the endless possibilities of evolution. The vast expanse of the cosmos stretched out before them, a canvas of twinkling lights and infinite mysteries waiting to be unraveled. each being carried with them a glimmer of hope and curiosity, wondering what the future held for humanity and themselves in the ever-changing universe.